Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Code Man Movies Podcast. I'm trying something different today. I'm using my phone camera instead of my laptop camera. My laptop's getting a bit old. It's like, 10 years old now. Survived a motorcycle accident, but hey, we're doing fine. So I'm trying something a little different. I'm projecting the images off my computer instead of my phone this time, and that's Back 40. That's where I work. Hey, guys, if you're looking for a job, we could use some people because I'm dying here. This week I'm trying something out a little different. Hopefully the video quality is a little better. I noticed in the last couple videos, all of them are like standard definition. They look like shit, so I don't like that. So grab your drinks. This week I am drinking apple pie sangria wine. It looks like piss, though. It's reminding me of a scene from Batman vs. Superman, if you know what I'm talking about. And I'm just going to make sure this is working because... So I'm controlling my phone from my watch. Oh, it's working, guys. Okay, let's just see how this works. So let's talk about the movies. Well, first of all, let's talk about life. So this week, once again, all I did was work. Yeah, that's about it. I'm also learning guitar, guys. That's something I've been doing. I've been doing that since, probably about April of last year. So it's been almost a year of learning guitar. And it's just something I'm trying to do to keep myself busy, to keep me from working so much, which isn't working so well. So let's just not talk about life this week. How about that? Okay, so let's talk about movies. Guys, before I even show you the next poster, I watched a lot of crappy movies this week, which is something I believe you should do occasionally in life. You should watch crappy movies so that you know what a good movie is when you see one. I also think you should do things like watching foreign films, Watch foreign films so you know what other cultures' movies are like. And you know what? There's movies like Parasite that came out in 2019 that won Best Picture. And guess what? That was an amazing movie that won Best Picture. And so people should watch foreign films. So occasionally I try to do that. Foreign films lately I haven't been watching because I'm so freaking exhausted. I don't know if you can tell from my eyeballs, but I'm dead tired. I've been working so much that I don't have time to pay... Well, I do have time to pay attention to movies, but... to focus extra and read is something harder for me, which is not an excuse not to watch foreign films, guys. Read the movie. You can do it. You forget you're doing it after a while, which I actually convinced a lot of people to start doing after Parasite. They watched Parasite, and they actually enjoyed the movie, and now they're watching foreign films. But anyways, we're getting on rants and political crap that I don't do. So anyways, just so you know, I watched some crappy movies this week. And let's start with the first one, shall we? First one was... You Again. Am I cutting off the poster? I'm cutting off the poster, but anyways, guys, You Again. Now, why did I watch this movie? I don't have an answer for you. I don't know why I watched this movie. Betty White just died, I guess. Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. I like Jamie Lee. I remember back in 2009, I guess, I was still living at my parents'. I would have been, in my sophomore, something, I would have been in high school. And I remember during commercials of TV shows or something I watch on TV or movies I was watching on cable, right? I would go to the DirecTV Cinema channel. And all it was showing all the trailers for movies that they now have available on DirecTV to watch. For extra money to rent and blah, 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 to buy, blah, blah, blah. And I remember watching this trailer and going, this movie's got Betty White. I'm sure there's going to be a couple funny parts, and then it's going to be stupid. Guess what, guys? This movie has a couple funny parts, and then the rest of it is pretty stupid. This movie is about Kristen Bell's character. She went to high school. She got picked on by this girl, and she comes back home for her brother's wedding, and guess who her brother's getting married to? The girl that picked on her in high school and bullied her. And there's friction and yada, yada, yada. And then Jamie Lee Curtis is the mom of Kristen Bell. And let's get that out of the way. Anyways, Jamie Lee Curtis is the mom of Kristen Bell. And she finds out that the godmother of the girl that picked on Kristen Bell and is marrying her son is actually her mortal enemy from high school. And drama ensues. And, of course, women fighting each other, doing these stupid, over-the-top, ridiculous things that they don't need to be doing, but they're doing because, well, they hated each other years ago, blah, blah, blah. You've seen this 100,000 times before. Yeah, I don't have much to say about this movie, guys. There was a couple parts I laughed. Most notably, one where they're taking dance lessons for the wedding. But at the end of the day, this movie's just kind of filled with people that... everyone in this movie is kind of awful. They do these awful things. They say awful things. This movie's not that good. You know, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kristen Bell, Betty White, Sigourney Weaver, all these... the main cast are giving it their all. They're having... you can tell they had fun making this movie. By the way, I'm wearing a bathrobe today because I just don't feel like it. Having one of those days where I just quit. And then I'm wearing a Rick and Morty shirt. I don't know if you can really tell. You can't really tell from what I'm seeing on my watch anyway. Anyways, what were we talking about? This movie. Anyways, guys, you can tell everyone's giving it their all. The writing is not very good. The direction's not the best. It's just a movie where essentially these actors got together and they're like, yeah, do some stuff, have some fun. And that's what they did, which is fine. A couple great moments with Betty White. At the end of the day, though, this movie's not that funny. We've seen this movie 100,000 times. Yeah, I don't know why I necessarily watched this movie. It was just available on Hulu, I think. I can't recommend watching it, guys. It's not that good. It's like a 3 out of 10. There's so many things that I don't want to talk about this movie anymore. We're just not going to... I'm going to take a drink. And we're going to move on. Because I just don't want to talk about it. 3 out of 10. It's not that good. It's just not. It's not that good. And now I can't move. Why can't I move? I want to move. Oh! Thank God. Next up, guys, we have the movie The Bartender, or The Tender Bar, sorry. You can't really... oh, making it worse. There we go. The Tender Bar, guys. That's the next movie I watched this week. This movie was getting some awards buzz-ish for Ben Affleck. And he does give a really good performance. But other than that, this movie's not that great. This movie is based off a memoir, I believe, about I forget what the character's name even is. I forget who the author's name is. He's written some books, though. It's loosely based on his life, kind of. So Ben Affleck plays this uncle to this kid who... he ends up being like the father figure for him, and he like owns this bar, and the kid hangs out in the bar and learns to be a man, and yada yada yada. This movie is very mediocre. It's directed by George Clooney, which I don't think I've liked very many of his movies. His movies are very just They're very nothing to them. They always have great stars in them. They always have great things, great premises, great ideas, but at the end of the day, his movies aren't that great. I remember the last one he did last year was Midnight Sky or something like that. The one on Netflix with space, and there was like that twist at the end, and the movie was just very And that's the same I can say for this. This movie's very It's a coming-of-age movie about a kid and growing up, and it's just not that great. Ben Affleck does give a great performance. That's about all I can say. There's a kid that I believe in 2020 or 2021, he went on the internet, and his mom made a YouTube video of him saying, talking about lockdown and how people need to stay in their fucking houses. And it's just a video of him swearing and talking about wearing masks and stuff like that. And that's why George Clooney picked him to be in this movie, essentially. And he is actually pretty good for a child actor, I'm not going to lie. George Clooney did great with him. But other than that, Ty Sheridan's in this movie playing an older version of this kid. The movie kind of goes back and forth with that. This movie's just kind of messy. And Christopher Lloyd's also in this movie. Plays the grandpa to the kid. So at the end of the day, though, there's not that much to this movie that worked for me. There's moments of this movie that are great, moments that are great, little coming of age moments that we can all relate to for sure. But at the end of the day, I was just kind of bored by this movie. Just was not a fan of this one. It's fine. It's fine. It's on Amazon Prime. It's not like this movie was in theaters. If this movie was in theaters, I would say don't go see it. It's not worth your time. But because it was on Amazon, I mean, if you like coming of age movies, you might like this one. I was kind of bored by it. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It's not awful. There's some decent things to it. Like I said, Ben Affleck's great. The kid's great. Ty Sheridan's doing what he can with this movie. Christopher Lloyd's playing his part. I mean, there's some good scenes in this movie. But at the end of the day, I would recommend more just YouTubing best scenes from the Tender Bar than actually watching this movie, because it wasn't that great. That poster's really blurry. I'm just realizing that right now. Let's move on, shall we? Next up, I watched the Adam Project. I'm not drunk, guys. I am just tired. The Adam Project. Now, this movie is directed by Shawn Levy, the guy who did Free Guy, which, if you've watched any of my episodes, you watched the review for Free Guy, you know I really liked that movie. It was in my top 10 of last year. So I was excited to hear that Shawn Levy and Ryan Reynolds were teaming up again. And then I got even more excited to hear that Zoe Saldana was in the movie. And then I got even more excited to hear that Jennifer Garner and Mark Ruffalo were teaming up again after 13 going on 30 to be in a movie again. And everything that kind of excited me about all those things I just said, everything that excited me was kind of a disappointment in this movie. The direction of this movie didn't feel quite so clear. It felt like maybe this movie had some time restraints, which is weird because I never hear that from Netflix movies. I hear basically you can do whatever the heck you want, but it felt like this movie had to be shot in a very quick amount of time. Like maybe Ryan Reynolds had another movie to do or something like that. I don't know, but like this movie felt very rushed to me from the directing aspect of it. Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds in this movie. It's nothing new here. The movie is about Ryan Reynolds. So at the beginning of the movie, we're at 2050, and Ryan Reynolds goes back in time to 2022 and meets his younger self, the kid that you see in the poster there. What's his name? Walker Scobell, I think his name is. And he meets his younger self, which is a very interesting premise. That was another thing I really thought would be exciting about this movie is the premise. Just sounds fantastic. At the end of the day, though, I don't think it was executed the best. Like, there is banter between Ryan Reynolds and the kid, and Ryan Reynolds' kid, the kid, is very much acting as an older version of Ryan Reynolds. So, I mean, that worked for me, and it was fun, but then we get into kind of the Zoe Saldana part, and I won't exactly spoil who she is, why she is, blah, 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 but she's not in the movie very much. She's maybe in the movie for 15, 20 minutes. She's not in it very long, and I don't know, she's kind of underutilized. There's like a scene that's badass with her. That's about it. Honestly, there's not much with her there. And then the same thing with Jennifer Garner. Jennifer Garner plays the mother to both Ryan Reynolds and the kid, and she's not in it much. And as far as the relationship between Jennifer Garner and Mark Ruffalo, there's one scene where they're together, and it's like 3 minutes long. So there's not much of these things that I was excited about. And I don't know, it kind of focused more on Ryan Reynolds and the kid, which is fine. That's kind of what the movie should be about. But I just didn't think their chemistry was really there that much. And I don't know, I didn't love this movie that much. I know a lot of people are in love with this movie. To me, this movie is a little closer to what Red Notice was. It's very mediocre. It's fine. I don't hate myself for watching this movie, but it's not good necessarily. This movie deals with time travel, and this movie deals with time travel in a way that most other movies have dealt with time travel, in the sense that if you go back in time and change something, you're going to change the future. And it was weird for me knowing that one of the last movies I watched with time travel was Avengers Endgame, where if you change the past, it doesn't mean you're going to change the future, because going to the past shouldn't change your future. And it was just weird for me, because in Avengers Endgame, Mark Ruffalo's Hulk is literally explaining how just because you go to the past doesn't mean you change the future. And in this movie, he's going, guys, you can't go to the past, you're changing the future. That took me out a little bit. It really shouldn't have, because that's a different movie. My voice just got really high there, cracked a little bit. I apologize for that. Go ahead, laugh. There we go, I did it for you. Yeah, it was weird. It was jarring to see Hulk tell us that, oh, you can't change the past because you're going to change the future. Like I said, he wasn't in it much. Mark Ruffalo's not in it much. Jennifer Garner's really not in it much. It's all about Ryan Reynolds and the kid. And then, what is her name? Catherine Keener is in this movie. She plays the bad guy. There's also a younger version of herself that's de-aged, and it looks like crap. Some of the visual effects in this movie look like crap. This movie feels more like a made-for-TV movie than it does, which I guess it kind of is. It went straight to Netflix. It's not playing in theaters. As you can see, this movie's kind of a mess to me, because I'm just going all over the place with it. And I didn't love this movie. I know a lot of people are in love with this movie. For me, it was very mediocre. I'm never going to watch it again, but I liked the premise. I didn't feel it was handled very well. I liked the cast. I didn't feel they were handled very well. The visual effects aren't that great. I like the director, but it felt like he was rushed into doing this for some reason. I like the fact that Sean Levy has been hired to direct Deadpool 3, if we ever get that movie, because it still hasn't been announced. But at the end of the day, this movie was just very for me. And I want better from all these actors, from this director, and such like that. At the end of the day, guys, I'm low on this movie. I'm giving this movie like a 5 out of 10. Same as the last movie. It's just very And I don't see myself ever wanting to watch it again. It's just You don't want to say when watching a movie. You want it to go, oh, just incredible. You know what I mean? Oh, wait, I can zoom out like this. Oh. See, guys, I'm really learning some things here. I'm going to move you guys back a bit. Oh, look what I can do, guys. See, I am 27 years old. I should be at an age where I know more about technology than everyone else, because I'm 27 years old. At least that's what customers say to me when they come in. I don't, guys. I'm pretty bad with technology. I learn new things about my Apple Watch and my iPhone and my Mac and such every day of the week. And sometimes it's by older people telling me these things because I don't know them. And that's just the way it is, I guess. But yeah, that's cool. We're gonna play with things. Woohoo! Woo! Okay, that was fun. Anyways, guys, Adam Project. It was fine. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's a 5 out of 10. I'm probably never watching it again. Let's continue, shall we? Oh, guys, I told you I watched some shitty movies this week. This is another one of them. All About Steve. Another movie with a phenomenal cast. Sandra Bullock, Thomas Hayden Church, Bradley Cooper. Two of those people... Wait, no. Bradley Cooper's not won an Oscar. Sandra Bullock is an Oscar-winning actress. Bradley Cooper has been nominated for many Oscars. I don't know if Thomas Hayden Church has been. I don't think he has. Anyways, guys, this has a great cast. And this movie's crap. It's from the producers of Miss Congeniality, which is probably how I got Sandra Bullock into this movie. So this movie, Sandra Bullock is a crossword puzzle designer, and she Well, she goes on a blind date with Bradley Cooper, set up by her mom, and she ends up really liking him. Bradley Cooper thinks she's crazy, and Bradley Cooper is like this camera guy for the news, and she ends up stalking him. And they go on this wild road trip. And when I say they, I mean he goes on a road trip and she kind of stalks him. And she's crazy and ridiculous. But by the end of the movie, I guess spoilers, kind of, not really. It kind of shows in the trailer. She falls in a hole, an old mining hole, and becomes a hero because she helps a deaf child also get out of that hole. This movie sucks, guys. This movie's not good. What I will give this movie is the fact that all the actors know what movie they're in, I think. Specifically Sandra Bullock. She understands what movie she's in. She's acting the hell out of this crazy character. And I appreciate that and love that. Bradley Cooper is doing a great job playing this guy who's getting stalked by a crazy girl. Thomas Hayden Church is just kind of a shitty friend. Yeah, I have not much else to say about this movie. This movie's not good. There's some bad visual effects. Writing sucks. This movie sucks. I'll give it a 2 out of 10 for acting purposes. This might be a shorter episode today, guys. I don't have that many movies to talk about, and I just have nothing to say about movies like this. It's just crap. Why did I watch it? Because Sandra Bullock has a new movie coming out in 2 weeks. That's why I watched it. And I like Sandra Bullock. And I like Bradley Cooper. And I like Thomas Hayden Church. That's about it. And like I said, sometimes it's good to watch bad movies so you know what a good movie is when you watch it. And yeah, that's about it, guys. Can we move on? I'm going to move on. We're going to move on. Next up, guys, I watched a documentary series called Lucy and Desi. This is a documentary that is directed by Amy Poehler. Which is part of the reason why I watched it. Part of the reason is also because I watched Being the Ricardos, which I think I watched that last week, and I don't know if I talked about that last week. So we're going to talk about it a little bit again, just because I watched this documentary. So this documentary talks about both Lucy and Desi. They talk about their childhoods a little bit. They go from their beginnings, their origins, you could say, and they go into their marriage, and I Love Lucy, and everything they did. And I can honestly say I learned a lot from this documentary. It's very interesting to hear that. What I really took away from this documentary is that Lucy and Desi loved each other very much, even if it meant they didn't love each other in a marriage sense. From what I learned from this documentary, their marriage was not very good. It sounded like they were happiest only when they were working, which is something that's kind of hitting home for me right now. I'm learning that, so I'm someone that loves to work. I have a hard time with friendships and relationships and such like that. And I've learned that I'm happiest when I'm working. But I've also gotten to a point now where I am working way too much, and I realize I'm not as happy as I thought I would be working so much. And so that kind of hit for me. It's something that I can relate to with this documentary. And I found it very interesting. I found their relationship, while complicated, to be beautiful and something that just made sense to me. And I really did enjoy this documentary. I think Amy Poehler did a great job of stitching all this footage together. She brought in the kids of Lucy and Desi in, and it was very beautiful to hear. Now, there are some things that I don't know a lot about Lucy and Desi. I have watched maybe an episode of I Love Lucy. After this movie and Being the Ricardos, I actually want to go back and watch I Love Lucy. I believe it's on Hulu. I think it's something I'm going to be checking out real soon. As you guys know, I've been watching Full House. I kind of like to watch one TV show at a time. So I think I'm going to finish watching Full House and maybe move on to I Love Lucy. We'll see what happens. But yeah, this documentary was very informative. I learned a lot. I found the relationship between Lucy and Desi very interesting. I also learned a lot about TV in the sense that I didn't realize that Lucy and Desi were kind of the people that really started TV. And I didn't realize that they had this production company called, what was it, Desilu? I didn't realize they helped get started with things like the Andy Griffin Show and such like that. And even Star Trek. I didn't know that Lucille Ball was very much someone that wanted Star Trek. She was very much for Star Trek and knew that it was going to be something important to television. Not only television too, but we've had Star Trek movies now. And the rebooted Star Trek movies with Chris Pine. It's insane what these two actually did and how much they changed not only TV industry, but the movie industry. This documentary also showed me that they came up essentially with the rerun, and the fact that a rerun was made because Lucy was pregnant and had a child, and she wanted time to be with her kids, so they just reran these episodes. That was fascinating to me. I definitely didn't know that. So I work at a bar, as you guys probably know.